Are we on? Are we live?
Yeah. Yeah.
Welcome, everyone, to Sunday Fuel. Look, I know it's a trying time for people who are in markets, especially in crypto. Who am I kidding? It's not just crypto, it's silver and gold bugs. It's people holding the stock market. It's everybody. We're not sure what's going on because it seems to be all kinds of bad things are happening behind the scenes. And no, I'm not talking about the Epstein files or anything like that. I'm talking about things that matter. All right? The markets. Because we're here as traders. And we're trying to make as much money as we can. Now, I'll be the third to admit that my prediction for how high Bitcoin could go for the cycle did not pan out. But I rest comfortably in the fact that I never promised that that was the case. Sure, Sacred Prophet might have made some proclamations that might seem to some people as to be promises. But if you look back on that tape, you will see that maybe and TM has been added very judiciously where it needed to be. And if you've been following me for a while, you know I'm not married to these ideas. But what I did have was a process that let me know, hey, when I would be wrong. And ever since last spring and really headed into the summer, I was saying that October was my line in the sand in time, and that around 92,000 was my line in the sand for the price for Bitcoin before I switched to bear market. Granted, since that point in November, Bitcoin is down 35%, and you have me to thank for that if you listen to me. But that's not what I'm here for. I'm not here for accolades. No, Lord. I know that they want to give me accolades, but that's all I'm here for. What I'm here for is to guard you against the charlatans who are eager to take the remains of your money if you didn't listen previously. What am I talking about? I'm talking about the people who, up until the end of last year, was saying Bitcoin was to get to $250,000 within 30 days. I'm talking about the people who told you to look here for why Bitcoin was going to skyrocket all of a sudden. Now, those people must be excommunicated.
Has incurred the sentence of excommunication.
Must beware of these people. Volatility is a gift. Now is a great time to buy. Always buy, never sell. Yeah. So I'm on the hunt now. I'm on the hunt online for all these people, the people who said it right and the people who said it wrong, the people who admit when the process needs to be modified or had a process to account for when they were wrong, and other people who are making it up as they go. And here are some of the signs that you're going to see for people who you should stay away from completely or use as counter indicators. One, people who are telling you any day now Bitcoin is going to skyrocket. It's going to do an 11 Sigma event and it's going to freaking silver up all the way to $300,000 tomorrow. Those people hires, grifters. You don't want any of that. The people who tell you to, hey, who were telling you to look very granularly to the charts, and then all of a sudden now are saying, hey, zoom out, buddy. Over the long term, Bitcoin beats out every other asset class. All right, just buy and hold. Well, you weren't saying that 6 months ago when you're trying to sell your package, okay? And then the people who are telling you, and this is the most egregious, how far Bitcoin is going to go down when they had no process for getting them out of their bullish call. They're all full of remorse. Hey, you know what? I guess I was wrong there. I could totally understand that. But now I can see that Bitcoin's going to go to 35,000, 22,000. I'm hearing calls like this. Crazy. Don't listen to people who don't have a track record of being honest or were successful. Because otherwise, you have a hard road ahead. So stick with me. Stick with the Sacred Prophet. Stick to shows like Sunday Fuel, where you get the information direct from the Lord of Liquidity's mouth. Direct from the source of truth. Because I will guide you as best as I can. Not financial advice, do your own research. But I'll tell you what I'm doing, and you'll be able to follow every step of the way so that you can make your own decisions in health and honesty. Let's get ready for the show, folks, because this is Sunday Fuel.
The year is 2020. As the old financial empires collapsed and crypto drowned in noise and false prophets, one man lost everything. And in that loss, he was called. Through the wreckage of his own failure and the precision of his charts, a higher force revealed what others could not see and entrusted him with a mission to guide others through the chaos he barely survived. They call him Sacred Prophet. And now, the revelation is yours to claim.
Welcome, everyone, to Sunday Fuel for Sunday, February 8th, 2026. I am your humble host, Sacred Prophet. Joined as ever by Plucky Psychic and Aaron and Training.
Nope.
Peter,
Nope.
Bad Guru,
Nope.
Hartman.
Nope.
Great Scott!
Nope. No. No. I'm not Iron in training.
All right, you're Marty.
I'm
Marty-
the
Marty
acolyte.
Fly.
How many times do I have to tell you this? I'm the acolyte.
Well, you're dressed like a cool Morty from Rick and Morty. I don't know what to tell you.
I'm
Check out
the
this dude in this
acolyte.
life preserver. Dude thinks he's gonna drown.
The acolyte. Say it.
And the acolyte, Peter, the acolyte Hartman. There we go.
Thank you.
That works.
Thank you.
Okay, but that acolyte, what sound works for that? Oh, I know.
No, that's like somebody died.
Silence!
I don't need a sound effect. I'm my own sound effect. Ricka, 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 whoop, wick,
Oh.
wick. Hey
God.
man. Hey man.
Ship a shop, a shippity shop, shop, a ship shop, shippity doo. Peter, what if I told you
Mhm.
that the $60,000 wick bottom on Bitcoin
Mhm.
was not the last drop that we're going to have this cycle, but the second to last drop?
Did
That we
Bitcoin
have
hit
one
60K?
more. Sorry?
Bitcoin hit 60K?
Yeah, Bitcoin hit 60K last week on Thursday,
Mm.
right?
Okay. So that's as low as it's gonna go. That's it. We're done.
No. Second lowest. I think we're going to have one more leg down
Hmm.
to around 50,000, 50 in the $50,000 to $56,000 range. That's my range, right? The reason I'm saying 56,000, that's the upper end of my range. The low end of my range is around $50,000 on futures contract for Bitcoin. And so maybe we wick below that. I don't know. We did wick below the ranges in previous cycles, but I think that's the low we're going to get to. But we need another liquidation, another washout to get there. And the pattern is, I mean, people who like looking back on patterns on Bitcoin, it's following the patterns just almost exactly to the last cycle. So what would you say if I told you, hey, we're going to have another leg down? How'd you play that? Would you short from here? Would you place limit orders, buy stop orders at the bottom between 56 and 50 and just buy and generate generational wealth? Would you take options or futures? Would you go all in? You do poly market bets? What would you do with information if you knew for a fact Bitcoin was going to 50,000 and then up from there? What would you do? What would you do if your son was at home crying all alone on the bedroom floor because
he's hungry?
And the only way to
No,
feed him
no,
is to-
no, no. This is not a singing channel.
Yeah,
okay?
we're gonna
People are gonna click on. People are gonna click on this. They're gonna see Bitcoin 56K. And they're gonna wonder, why do you think it's going to 56K? Now, what would I do if I thought it was going to go down that far? I don't want to spoil it by saying what I would do.
I'm so glad.
I'll just leave it to. But I'll tell you, if it hits 56K, I'm gonna have some buy orders down there. That's for sure. And then run it up. The problem is, once it comes back up, is it going to go straight line? Is it going to wash me out? I'm a prop firm trader these days.
Oh yeah,
I gotta-
yeah. You
I
can't buy
gotta-
and hold like that with a prop firm account.
Yeah.
So I get that.
Yeah, I got
The
max
whole other kit and
drawdown.
caboodle.
Yeah. So you look. What are you asking me questions for? Right? I'm here to learn from you. I want you to tell me what to do. So, Mr. Sacred Prophet, go ahead, and I want you to show it to me on a chart. First of all, I want to know why you think. I want to know why you think it's going to 56K.
No. Why I know it's going to go to 56K.
Well,
Say it right.
okay.
Say it
Why you
properly.
know? Or okay, well, I mean,
Oh,
famous last words if this doesn't work out, Mr. Sacred Prophet,
Peter,
Mr. I'm transparent.
that's how the con game works. What you do is you make outlandish claims with 100% certitude, and if you're wrong, you just spin up on your YouTube channel. And if you're right, people think, "Oh my God, he's a genius." That's how you make money.
It's smart, smart.
Yeah, it's called a survivorship bias. I actually learned it from a con artist book called Confidence Game by Anna Kournikova. Very good book. Teaches you what con artists do,
Huh?
I guess, ultimately, so you can avoid con artists in your own life. But if
Uh-huh.
you want to learn how to convince people and do things, it's actually a great handbook for that too.
Great book for
It's like
that
if in the
too.
Bible you just follow whatever all the bad guys do, you end
Mhm.
up like famous, rich, and successful. You know what I mean?
Okay,
Sort of like
yeah,
that.
sort of like that.
Sort of like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if
Oh,
we take
by
a
the
look at
way,
the charts here,
before we
yeah, go
take a
ahead.
look at the charts, on a side note, talking about rich and famous people, please, if I ever become rich and famous, please remind me not to go to any mysterious parties on mysterious islands. All right. Apparently, the more you climb that mountain, the higher you get to the tippy top, the more you get invited to things that might not be so kosher, wholesome.
Well, what if everyone at the top
Mm-hmm.
was like that, and the only way to be at the top was
Uh huh.
to be in that sort of thing?
Oh well, then
Would you be like, well, I'll just
what?
stay a proletariat or a pleb my entire life?
No. Look, if everybody's gonna have a little,
I'll have a
I
little
almost,
fascism. I'll take a little bit of fascism.
I almost said the wrong thing. Look, okay. If everybody's going off the cliff, then I'll go off the cliff with them. But I don't want to be the only one.
Right, wrong, good, evil. All that matters is what works and what doesn't work, right?
That's what Hillary Clinton says.
We gotta keep those. What do they call? What does she call us? Super predators.
Deplorables.
We gotta
I
get
don't
those
know.
super predators to heal black people.
So if black people are super predators, what's Epstein? Ultra super? Is that his final
Um,
form? Did we see Epstein's final form? I
you see the
heard
conspiracy theory of like
he's not
that all
dead.
these people are time travelers or
Oh
immortals.
no, the time travel stuff is it's too far. I like a good conspiracy theory like the next guy, but time travelers? Come on,
Oh,
dude, aliens.
I thought the island stuff was crazy.
Yeah. What?
Like I thought this whole island thing was crazy to begin with. I thought that was a crazy idea.
No, there's definitely an island.
Yeah, but I just thought it was also crazy. Turns out it's true. What about the
Look,
stuff where Michael Jackson apparently is exonerated and that he was actually trying to save people from? Let's get to the charts.
let's get
Let's
to
just
the
get to the
charts. I don't know where Michael came in here.
So, our line in the sand, just to remind everybody, our line in the sand was using our wave indicator available at the Sacred Prophet Library. We use the wave indicator in order to help trade over trends for longer term, but it also works very well for intraday. But we take a look here at the Bitcoin chart over the longer term. And our line in the sand was this red line right here, this yearly volume weighted moving average right through here. Why? Because every single time we cross that line up, we go into a bull market, a bull period, and then below that is a bear market. So over here in 20, let's take a look at this one. In 2014, we cross below it. We are decidedly inside of a bear market. We cross above it, boom, we break out to the upside. We cross below it, we're into the bear market. Above it, bull market. Below, above, so below as above, and so on and so forth. And so we crossed that level in November of this year. And you'll remember that I've been saying that what we're likely to see is that we would cross below, and then we would have some sort of confirmation of that level of that volume weighted moving average, and then a drop down. Right? I don't know if Peter, you should remember this because you've been here this entire time, but I said we'd be looking at this. This is what we're looking for. And we're looking for the price to come as close up to this level over here. Right? I even said it could go all the way up to 114 if you remember that and still
Yep.
be bearish. But My line in the center was this red line to stay below here, and we got all the way up to near the volume weighted average price, right up to the wave level over here, and then we reversed down that way, which is exactly the pattern we're expecting to see. Why did we expect to see that pattern? Because if we look back at the last cycle, we saw essentially the exact same thing, right? We saw a double top here where Bitcoin went to a high, it went to another high, and people are like, okay, we're going to go to 150 from here. It stopped at 69, so it was sort of that, it felt like a truncated top. I don't know if you remember last time we were also talking about a truncated top. The whole idea was that this leg up over here was supposed to be over here, but because China banned Bitcoin fell, and then it rose again, and so people saw this as a truncated top. I don't know why people are not talking about this time. Like, people are saying we should be higher now. Yeah, it's the same thing that happened last time, okay? So then Bitcoin fell. It fell below this level over here. Then we chopped underneath. We confirmed that level, and we then rolled over. So following that chart, we are essentially right over here, folks. We're essentially right over here. Now, last time, we had all this to go, right? All that to go. Why? Because this lustrum level, that is what we call our roughly a 5-year volume weighted moving average in wave. Our lustrum level over here was the downside, and that's where we had to actually get to. And if we're following that same sort of pattern here, we're going to experience it the same way, where this is the top, the confirmation, the fall, but we're going to fall to this lustrum level. That's my likelihood that we're going to fall to this lustrum level, but we're nearly there. It's the same sort of pattern, but squished. And it makes sense. It makes sense because the volatility that we experience in this bull run was nothing compared to the volatility we experienced in the last one. Consider from the lows of COVID to the top of the market, right? The most amount of liquidity injected into financial markets globally in the history of mankind, up until Göbekli Tepe. But before that, who knows what happened? But
Okay.
recorded history, the greatest amount of liquidity injection. Well, we didn't have that this time. In fact, we had the most amount of pullback, right? We had retail traders that couldn't be involved in the same way they did before. One, because they were burned last time, so they burned a bunch of capital. And two, because inflation was so high, everything cost 3, 4, 5 times than they did before. So they didn't have the marginal money in order to move the price. We did have institutional participation, and so we had this steady rise, and we had this rise up, which is still pretty significant, right? Off the lows for Bitcoin, we had a rise up of almost 700%. That's a great return. But the volatility wasn't there. We didn't have these crazy runs up, run down, run up. We didn't have any of that. We just had the stair step all the way up. So it makes sense that on the way down, the volatility will also be low. Chalk it up to not enough participation, chalk it up to institutional rules, chalk it up to a maturing asset, whatever it is, the volatility to the downside, I'm expecting to be much lower than it was. So in the same way that people were expecting, I mean, I was calling for $250,000 on Bitcoin. Some people were calling for a super cycle. I don't know if you heard about this, Peter. People are talking about a super cycle this cycle where Bitcoin was going to get to $1 million a coin. Right. So all those narratives, poo out of here. What we got was the double top, just we got last time, and a pullback. And so I think 56,000, which is around here, all the way to the low here of around 50. It depends what Bitcoin chart you're looking at. So it's really a zone between 50,000 and 56,000. Right now it's tracking at around 55.5 thousand that we're looking at for the low here. Now, once we get there, all in, baby. All in.
Wait.
No, honestly, I'm going full bore.
But hang on. 56K, 56K doesn't seem that low or that far away from where we are right now.
Correct. That's what's going to catch everyone off guard. That's why last show we talked about how this is going to be the shortest and shallowest bear market for Bitcoin. This is another thing I wanted to bring up over here. You ever heard the phrase volatile? Sorry. Ever heard the phrase knowledge is vol dampening?
No.
Well, you're hearing it here first then. Knowledge is vol dampening. When the market moves drastically, when people are unprepared for the move. Peter, would you say people were unprepared for a parabolic move in Bitcoin this cycle?
Nope.
I didn't even really understand how everyone was sitting in the back with their legs up going, oh my, I'm going to hodl because I know how the last cycles went, and we're all going to wait for this to skyrocket to get to $1 million per coin, and we're going to be rich. We're all going to make it. It's like, wait a minute. Everyone expected it. Everyone expected it. So where was the extra dollars going to come from? It's like the people sitting around with GameStop shares going, it's going to go to 400 soon. It's not going up. All right? It's not going to do what you thought because everyone's on that side of the boat. Everyone knows about it. And people know about it. There's no one on the other side of the trade to squeeze out. There's no euphoria because everyone's already in. So they already got in before going, I'm waiting for the big blow off. You're already in. You were supposed to be the rube who buys it at the top and pushes the price higher. It ain't happening.
So all the Bitcoiners should just be constantly saying, Bitcoin is over, it's done, we're crashing, it's finished, in order to get
this
people.
This is what I don't understand. Well, what I suspect is that you make so much money being a furu that they don't care how high Bitcoin gets. They make so much money on their YouTube channels. They make so much money on their newsletters. They make so much money on that. They're like, who cares? If Bitcoin falls, they're still a multimillionaire. While the user, the pleb, the proletariat, the people like you guys lose out. So I think that's why. But this whole idea of like, hey, this is what happened in the last 4 cycles. Okay, so almost by definition, I should have known this. Almost by definition, it can't happen in the cycle because everyone's on that side of the boat. All right. But now, I don't know if you're following the sentiment of what it's like. I think Raoul Powell shared this the other day, that the fear and greed sentiment chart for crypto, fear is basically at as low as it could possibly get. Everyone is sitting here going, they're thinking to themselves, yeah, we were wrong that we get the price up. Sort of like last time. They're sort of like remembering that. But they go, last time we dropped, what was it? What was the drop last time? Peak to trough, something like 77%. And so they're expecting something like that, an 80% drop from where we are right now. That's why so many people are calling for 35,000 all the way down to, I've seen 22,000 people are talking about. All right? Totally understand because they're projecting this downward move. But you go, hey, the same way you were wrong about the upside move is the same way you're wrong now. The same way you were wrong about how it was going to go to $1 million a coin, you're also wrong that it's going to go to 22,000. And I remember I made the exact same mistake last cycle when it was at the lows. I saw it, Peter. I saw it right here at the lows around 17,000 on my chart. And I said, I think it'll go to 6,000. Why? Because I was afeared. And I just thought the price would go lower because every time I looked at it, it dropped lower and lower and lower. I thought it would go lower this time. I didn't realize that, no, I didn't have to worry about that. And that was in the midst of FTX, Celsius, 3AC Capital, Luna, the whole thing.
Did you have your
keep on going?
Did you have your indicators back then?
I had just made it around then. So I was doubtful. Now I'm not going to doubt. 56,000, I am all in. Here's the thing, Peter. People think, I don't know what to think about this. Because you guys know how I feel about false prophet sailor. And anyone talks about an infinite money glitch,
right?
I sort of go, I've heard this song before. I remember that interview with SBF on Raoul Powell talking on Real Vision, talking to Raoul Powell, talking about a black box that you put stuff in and money comes out. And I remember watching that video. I was like, I should save this video. I remember watching that video like 10 times going, I don't understand. What do you mean is a magic box you put something in and comes out? Like, I'm a dummy. Am I really missing this? And everyone was like, oh, yeah, no, money box. SPF, he's a scammer, right? Like, he looks, it seems, and talks, and everything he says is like a scammer. And everyone's like, oh my God, he's so brilliant. He's on the cover of Forbes. He's talking at conferences. I go, this sounds ridiculous. And I feel the same way about Sailor. But I don't want to let my judgment fool me. I don't want to be like one of those people on the TV show Traders going, I know for a fact they're a trader. I know for a fact they're a faithful. I don't know. So a lot of people are thinking that the strategy, the micro strategy, needs to go under. That will be the final nail in the coffin for the low in the season. They need their big FTX collapse. They need their Celsius. They need their Luna. They need their 3AC Capital. They need that last final thing, right? We had the whole thing with Binance. We had all kinds of things with liquidations. They want the big thing that says, okay, this is done. Risk is flushed out of the system. Now we're ready to go. But what if Elon Musk is right? And the most ironic thing is what the universe tends towards. And what it really is that Sailor did find an infinite money glitch. And that strategy is not going to fail. And that all the liquidations, all the major liquidations are actually done. And there's only like one small thing left, something that we're not really paying attention to. And then all of a sudden, we're going to rocket to the heavens, and Sailor will be a trillionaire. I wonder if that could be
Well,
the case.
that's great speculation, but what makes you think? Is there any evidence to suggest that might be possible?
Because of how many people are pointing to strategy as the thing they're looking to fail for them to call the bottom. Because the QA call, the last earnings call for strategy, we talked about this on Traders Post last Friday. The last earnings call for strategy had 187,000 live listeners to that 2-hour boring ass call.
Wow!
Waiting to see
Whoa!
the bad news. They wanted to hear the bad news. And
How
you're like,
many
wait,
people?
you're looking to an earnings call for bad news? That's like going to the press house briefing and expecting bad news from there. What are you talking about?
Yeah, well, that's crazy.
187. More people watched that than the president's address. So that tells me so many people are on the side of the boat of this is the thing to watch. And because everyone is watching that, I go, I don't know. I don't think so. I don't think so.
So you're thinking because when SBF collapsed and 3 comma whatever the hell you said,
Not
were
three
people?
commas. 3AC Capital.
Yeah, I know.
3
Were
commas is
people?
alive and well. Don't besmirch their name.
Were people pointing at them saying, "Oh, they're about to collapse"?
No.
But people are pointing at strategy saying they're about to collapse. So wisdom of the crowds.
No, I'm just saying that because this is like the 4th time the cycle has happened and everyone knows about the cycle, now everyone's watching,
Mm-hmm.
right? People didn't see that last time. People didn't see the COVID crisis before that. People didn't see
Yeah, but you're
Mount Gox
saying
before that.
because everybody's on that side of the boat, it's less likely to happen.
Correct.
Because does strategy not present a risk to the system?
I assume they do. I've been scouring the documentation. I've been reading their filings. I've been going through. I cannot find anything where the risk is there.
Right.
I just assume there has to be because it doesn't seem to make any sense what they're talking about. But I don't see any of the risks there. It's all on the table. They're very clear about all the things that they're doing. It's very public. So I'm not seeing it. The risk seems to be to the bondholders and the stockholders, that everyone who buys into it, the risk is on them, but not on MicroStrategy. Sort of like how the risk is of the housing market is on the people with the houses, not on the government and the banks.
Right.
Sort of like that. It's that type of grift.
All right, before we go any further, I actually want to talk to you about something. Alfredo G in the chat. Hello, everyone. Well, hello to you, good sir. How are you doing? Thank you for being here. I appreciate it. So, people talk about how America's not doing well, the dollar is not doing well, the economy is not doing well, that, collapse is imminent, gold is skyrocketing because collapse is imminent. But then I remember what Elon said, which is, maybe I'm misremembering. I'm pretty sure he made the point of, and I'm paraphrasing, we got to get more money out the door. I think he was referencing AI and robotics, but he was like, UBI is not enough. We need, instead of universal basic income, we need universal high income. Get the money out the door. Can't print fast enough. This is time to get the money out. We're not in a situation where they're printing too much and things are going too bad. We're in a situation where the harm that's being caused is there's definitely not enough money flowing around in the system.
Yes.
Do you think American government, American dollar, the economy is on the verge of collapse? Because I remember I saw Peter Schiff on Tucker Carlson, and whenever I see Peter Schiff start showing up, I know the conversation is going, hey, people are very scared and worried.
And we're at the bottom
Or
of Bitcoin. Yeah.
we're at the bottom of Bitcoin. That's right. Or, right? So collapse imminent or biggest boom ever, including Bitcoin.
Both. I think it's the collapse and the biggest boom.
Well, how bad is this collapse going to be?
Well, just imagine it this way. The powers that be, what will they want to save? You or the financial system?
Right.
Or the value of their assets? Let's just say that way. Not the financial system, but the value of their assets. What do you think they want to save? What's going to make it on the life raft? Your puppy or the currency system through which they derive their power? That. And so I'm not concerned about the collapse of the financial system in the sense that I think that the powers that be will be hurt. It's just that they're extracting wealth from the proletariat and the, the unsullied, the rest of us. So will we collapse? Yeah, I think the K-shaped economy is just widening, and we're seeing that again and again. And you could set your barometer to that with the divide, the social divide you're seeing in the cultural space. But I'm not worried about the stock market or the dollar.
What about Bitcoin?
I'm looking for Bitcoin at 56,000 and ride it all the way up. Like I think they've made it quite clear that the powers that be are quite clear that hey, we can use Bitcoin to. Let me put it in a way that won't get us banned. Wash our transactions,
Okay.
dilute our system. They're fine with crypto in that sense. We get to use crypto in order to do 24/7 trading. They're totally fine with that. You're not going to get universal healthcare, but you're certainly going to get 24/7 trading and lower margin requirements on futures contracts. That you're going to get. You're certainly going to get money put into special accounts for your children until they're 18 years old that automatically buys the stock market. That you're going to get. You're certainly going to get reform to your 401k to make sure that more money can be allocated to different stocks. That you're going to get. The other stuff that could actually help you, that maybe next 4 years. But this 4 years, you're definitely going to get that. So am I worried about Bitcoin? No, I'm not. I'm just worried about not having enough. You know what I mean?
Do you think the rising tide is
Because they're
going
going to
to
leave us to die. They're doing a Elysium protocol. They're going to leave us to die here.
Do you think the rising tide is going to affect altcoins as well?
Altcoins is too broad of a term. I've been trying to think of how to think about this.
Mhm.
Because I've been hearing a lot of people, especially when Bitcoin goes down, everyone comes out of the woodwork talking about how terrible crypto is and how it's just all a scam and a Ponzi scheme and all that sort of thing. It relies on the greater fool theory and all that, and blockchain's really a technology, not a product, and all that sort of thing. And I agree. So when you're talking about whether or not they're going to disappear, if you're talking about the utility that the blockchain provides and the token provides for the blockchain for that network, no, I don't think that concept will disappear. The application of that concept in 95% of the cases have been dog shit, right? It's just they are pump and dump schemes. Even the way that they're distributed, talk about the Trump coin thing, like it's that sort of thing. But when you look at technologies like Hedera, Cardano, you're looking at types of, or even Ethereum, you're talking about types of technologies that can have a particular type of use case that in and of itself is valuable, regardless of the value of the coin, on the stock on the crypto exchanges. So aside from the price of the coin, the utility of it is there. So if you take a look at the Midnight token, I'm actually building a project right now and practicing using the Midnight token in order to have everything on a blockchain, but still be able to have privacy. That's useful.
Right.
As useful as being able to run an Apache server in order to host your website. But you're not sitting there going, I'm going to put stock into Apache. You just use it transparently when you're building anything. You're not thinking about the price of it. There's still money to be made with that space, but that's not the purpose of it. And so altcoins, too broad. Utility tokens that have actually utility, they're valuable insofar as they allow you to complete a goal. And beyond that, who really cares?
Alfredo in the chat says utility coins or ETF coins, which I think is what you're talking about, right?
Yeah, ETF. You mean the exchange traded funds, like
I
on
don't
the
know.
stock exchange?
I thought it was coins that have ETFs associated with them, maybe Bitcoin.
Yeah, ETFs are just a way. It's funny. We read a post on Friday that talked a lot about this. The financialization of this digital token, actually, of all the digital tokens, actually made them infinite, or didn't make the supply limited anymore. And so the whole value proposition of Bitcoin, that there's only 21 million Bitcoin, but then you can have an infinite number of, or a fractional reserve, a geometric expansion of the amount of Bitcoin floating around, because they're synthetic Bitcoins. Like in the same way that there's not enough gold or silver to cover all the futures contracts for gold and silver on the stock market. Like everyone knows that you can't call it all. It's like a run on the bank. You can't do it. But we trade it as if it is. Well, that's how Bitcoin is right now. There's way more Bitcoin out there, and so we've uncapped Bitcoin at 21 million. So if the whole proposition for Bitcoin was that there's a limited supply, no.
I know that we're going to be getting to, I think we're going to be getting to talking about. So I learned this past week, that putting on your trade in the overnight is definitely the move. It's the meta. It's the cheat code. You got me, pretty great trades in my prop firm account by giving me this information. So we're going to be talking about that here shortly. But I wanted to ask you, because I went to a birthday party recently. One of the first questions one of the guys asked me is, "What do you think about XRP?" What do your indicators say about XRP?
Let's take a look at it. So I don't know enough about when it comes to narrative. I subtract narrative when I'm trading something. I do not care about the narrative at all. In fact, when I'm trading, other than knowing if there's some sort of like event shock that's about to happen, CPI report, Fed meeting, or whatever, I don't want to know anything about what's going on. I just want to trade what's happening on the chart, because otherwise you get blindsided. But if I take a look at XRP, all right, so it's basically correlated right with the Bitcoin chart. Start with Bitcoin. Whatever happens to Bitcoin happens to XRP. There, next question. So the bear market, just like everything else, you see how the, if you take a look at the chart over here, how here it responded to the volume weighted average price for the year, responded there as well. Then it broke underneath, or it broke underneath over here. Then it touched once, confirmed again, and fell. Exactly what we just saw for Bitcoin. Like these levels and these waves all work together, and these are how institutions move, and these are how people move in aggregate. It's so funny to see something like this. Like if I saw this price over here, I'd be like, okay, that's a great place to short. Great place to short. Here,
So
great place to short.
what's your price target for XRP in the short term?
The next level down is, let's see here, is 85 cents. Let's see what it does. Let me see if we can find a longer term chart. Oops, 1 second. Okay, that's better. Here, I'm just getting more data so we can see the low. Let me just zoom out to the weekly. All right, so I'd expect it here. I'd expect it to fall at least to 85 cents and potentially as low as 56, 57 cents.
All right. What about Solana?
Solana, let's take a look. Oh, God. Let me see if I can find some good news for Solana. 1 second. Jiminy Cricket. Right, it might not be old enough in order to get the best information, but it's hard to say on this one. There's not enough info. Let's go to zoom in a little bit more. There's not enough history for me to tell. If I had to guess, I would say we have some more downside to go, only because we're correlated with Bitcoin. Until Bitcoin, wherever Bitcoin bottoms, or wherever Bitcoin gets to 56,000, that's where I think all these other coins, if they're going to bottom at all, it'll be there.
I see.
I don't see how it bottoms before that.
So you would use the Bitcoin price as the indicator, the Bitcoin movement as the indicator for whatever altcoin you're interested in.
Yeah, unless there's enough history. Let's take a look at ETH over here. So ETH is an interesting coin because if you look at the bear market that we're in right now through the lens of ETH, let's just do it this way. You can see that we could see the bull market and then the bear market right away. Like we are near the low here for ETH. ETH is probably going to bottom around 16, 1700, and then that'll be the low for the cycle, and then we move forward. So I find ETH interesting because it has enough history and has enough volume in order to give us information as to what's going on with the altcoin space. And we have a little bit left to go. That's why I think we have one more leg to go. And then after that, we're off to the races.
All right. Well, speaking about being off to the races, it's 5:55. The overnight is about to start.
Yeah.
Now, if you're out there, and I guess whether you're trading prop firms or not, you want to get ahead of the move for the week. And the best way to do that is by putting on your trade in the overnight.
Yeah, so let me tell you quickly what I'm seeing here for we'll take the NASDAQ for example, but the same is actually true right now for Bitcoin. So last week, all the assets bounced from their overnight, from the Thursday overnight, all the way up to their volume weighted average price, the weekly VWAP, all right, which represents here by this red line. This red line here. They all did it. If we take a look at Bitcoin, it came up to its VWAP. If we look at, is silver the same way? Silver is almost at its VWAP. Gold did the same thing. Actually, gold extended beyond it. Let's see what happened to the dollar. The dollar too.
What
the
is
euro there?
What is VWAP?
The volume weighted average price. The volume weighted average price is this red line over here. We're taking a look here at the week, and the teal ones over here are the day.
Yeah, but what,
so why am I
is
bringing
it?
this up?
What is, for the people who might not know, what is a volume weighted average price?
It's the average price of that asset weighted by volume. And the reason you weighted by volume is that if you just have a moving average for the price, you're not taking into consideration volume, which is the level of conviction of that price move. When there's volume behind a move, that price move has more conviction behind it. It's more likely to be sustained. Whereas in a low volume environment, you can have price move dramatically, but it might just be noise, or it might just be some sort of algo or bot or hedge fund or whatever manipulating the price in a low volume environment. That can happen. But when you have a lot of volume consistently, when you take that into consideration and you weight your moving average accordingly, what you get is a far more resilient indicator. Plus, it's so resilient and so common that institutions use the VWAP in order to decide when they're entering into and out of positions. Because remember, if some institution is looking to buy $2 billion worth of an asset, they can't be like you and just press the buy button. They have to wait for enough volume to be there so that when they enter in, they're not drastically moving the price, adjusting the liquidity. Because if they do that in a low liquidity, low volume environment, the price will skyrocket or drop if they're shorting. And so if they fill a bunch of orders, they're going to get a terrible price. They can get prices that move percentages against them, which when you're dealing with billions of dollars could cost them millions of dollars worth of slippage. So what they're looking for volume in order to embed their price. And they'll often have deals with brokers or third parties that say, hey, you got to buy $2 billion worth of it, but 75% of all the purchases for that have to be below VWAP, let's say. And so when the price gets below VWAP or near it, boom, you see the price bounce because there are resting orders there ready to fill for when the price gets there. And it comes and it fills and comes and fills and comes and fills. And the institutions are filling at the best price while you're chasing the price afterwards. So why does this matter here? The price moved back up. I want to say this before the 6 o'clock thing, because futures are about to open. The price moved up to a VWAP. Because of this, we always look at the next daily or weekly level. So whatever is the latest price for VWAP for the week, for the day, for the month, for the year, whatever VWAP you're looking at, whatever the price is at the market close, that's the price. That level is what you're looking at for the week ahead. So for the week ahead for the NASDAQ, we're looking at, on futures, we're looking at 25,190. The problem is that the price is right near around there now. These VWAP levels act as magnets. And so when the price comes in and you're already there, it means it's a coin flip for whether the price will go up or down. And it will usually go to the next nearest level. The next nearest level we have for the weekly VWAP is here was cleared, here was cleared, here was cleared. Do we have any near ones? Is below here we have a weekly VWAP of 23,962 and a daily VWAP of 23,373 here and here. So we're going to see where price responds to, but the weekly level, the weekly VWAP is more powerful than the daily, and the more recent level is more powerful than older ones. So we'll see how that goes. If I take a look further back, I can see that this daily level was created here in November, and the weekly level was created here in September. So because it's the weekly and it's stronger but older, and the daily is more recent but weaker, it's a coin flip where we're gonna go right now. And it's no wonder the market moved back up to coin flip area because it doesn't know where it needs to go now. So now it's waiting for information, waiting for data in order to figure out what to do. So what trade do I put on a day like this? I wait to see where we move, and I wait to see if the price will stay above this weekly level or below it. And I try to target nearby levels. So right now the market is open. Let's go down to the 15-minute, and we'll see on the we're seeing here that the price moved up 13 basis points. It just cleared this gap. Just to show you here, Peter, the price moved from over here, and it just made a little bit of a move up just to get to the weekly. It's like we have a little bit of room to the weekly. We got to get to the weekly. That's where it went. If we take a look at Bitcoin right now, let's see what it's doing. It jumped from over here up to the weekly. It's like, we got to get to the weekly. Let's see what happened to silver. Silver too is saying, we got to get to the weekly. It's trying to move up to over there. And gold, did it come down? Yeah, gold pushed down, saying, hey, we got to get back down to the weekly. Where's the weekly level for gold? Gold is saying, hey, we got to get back down to over here. It's not a guarantee. These are magnet levels. So it's very fun to see. So tonight, Peter, is not a day I would say put on a trade at 6 o'clock. Better for us to wait around 7, 8 o'clock to see how it shakes out. If the price confirms around above here, we might go ahead and take a long, but this is not a high quality trade. What'll happen though is let's just take a look at a previous example of when we did something similar. Let's see here. I'm looking for where the week ended and we were near that price. Like over here, the week started and the price came all the way down the previous week. And I can see the weeks because on our levels indicator, we have these bars, these vertical bars. This is a red one. That's the week, and the blue ones are the day. So I'm just going back, taking a look at all these weekly ones to see if I can find one that matches. Here it is, a weekly one, and the price came down to the week. Over here, the price went up to it. All right, so we're probably going to see the sort of thing where the price oscillates around it. It's hard to find exactly because that whole right here. No, that's not a good one.
Okay, we went far back enough.
Yeah, so it's hard to find that sort of thing, but because of that, it's a coin flip sort of situation, and we don't know what we're gonna get to. There's no real trade to do over here. If we stay above it, I would aim for this level above us here on the Nasdaq at 25,558, and I would keep my stop pretty close, like maybe maximum 25,127, and I would just try to take trades like this. But that's a gamble.
Alrighty. You were talking about volume weighted average price, VWAP. What's the best way for me to ask this? Do you think that most traders are aware of the importance of VWAP?
Yes and no. Almost every successful prop firm trader that we've interviewed or that has been interviewed on Traders Post uses VWAP. However, I found that they use it without necessarily knowing why. It's one of those things, they just happen upon that indicator because a lot of people use it and they figure out a way that works for them. But it's sort of like asking the surfer, what's the best way to surf? And they're like, well, I just feel the water. I can get a sense of what it is. And because it works, they go, it works, but they can't exactly explain to you why. So most don't necessarily understand why. And that the most important thing to me is not just VWAP, right? It's the levels that those VWAPs leave. So we take a look at the chart over here. Let me just remove a couple of these items so you can see. Let's move wave. Let's just show the daily one. Let's show the weekly one. All right. So these are the weekly. This is weekly VWAP. So this is volume weighted average price calculated over the week. Let's just even hide the lines. Okay. So what you're seeing here is that the solid plots, these red lines, those are the volume weighted average price for that day. But at the end of the day, you'll notice that a red bar appears, and whatever was the closing value for that VWAP for that day becomes a level, an unmitigated level or a mitigated level if the price has gone through it. Why does that matter? Because while during the day or during this week, price is responding to this VWAP level, right? It's coming up to VWAP, pulling back. It's coming up to VWAP and pulling back. It's using that VWAP level. Like I said before, there might be someone who wants to sell $2 billion worth of Bitcoin, and they're saying, sell it to me at VWAP or better. That means every time the price gets up to VWAP, they sell. If it gets deep into VWAP, they sell even harder. So you get these big wicks because they're selling as much as they can above that price, and it pushes down. What happens though is at the end of the week over here, that final price becomes a level to watch, and often price will retrace back up to that level and then turn around. These levels become magnets. So this is something I have never really seen any trader systematically use. The best I've ever seen it is that sometimes people will draw on the chart manually these important levels, but not systematically day by day, week by week. I'll go down to the 15-minute levels and draw the 15-minute VWAP and the 15-minute levels, and I'll use that with the 2-hour and the daily and the weekly and get a good sense of where the price will bounce from there. And I've never seen anyone do, ever.
And you can do that with your indicators?
Absolutely. If I were to zoom down now to the 15-minute chart, oh, sorry, let's go to the 1-minute chart, just the 1 minute. And let's even take a look at the NASDAQ. On the 1-minute chart for the NASDAQ, and I toss on an indicator for the 15-minute VWAP. So I'm going to switch this to 15 minutes. That means the average price is literally being calculated every 15 minutes. Yes, every 15 minutes. Tom, how low can you go? I've gone down to the 10-second chart and it still follows it.
Wow.
All right. This is we're on the 1-minute chart with the 15-minute, and you'll notice that here's a great example. The 50-minute candle starts. Price is responding to the VWAP. It creates a level when the price closes, right? This level gets created at the close over here, and the price finds a way to pull back to that level. Again, this level over here, let's look at this. Here they got cleared right away, but you see how the level gets created and then the price goes and clears it. The level gets created and the price comes down and clears it. The level gets created and the price comes up and clears it. Even when it doesn't clear it right away, this level got created and the price came all the way back and cleared it afterwards. And no, it's not random. Look, at that line is where it bounced. It bounced, and because the level was older and all the other previous level was already cleared, then it could bounce a lot because it's like, okay, I got no other levels I have to worry about. Well, there is one level I have to worry about, which was this level over here that was created from the previous 15-minute. So this bounce gave you this trade over here was pretty much guaranteed. This trade from this bounce over here to over here was pretty much guaranteed. Then on top of that, what people don't even use, man, don't get me started. On top of that, what people don't even use is that not only are the horizontal levels for price that people should pay attention to, but also the vertical bars here that you're seeing here, which is the time frame change for that VWAP. That's right, that bar is showing up in every 15 minutes. It shows up on every daily chart, on the daily VWAP, on every weekly, on every monthly, and every quarterly. Tom, you go up to quarterly and daily. I use VWAPs on every freaking level, folks. And at those time frame changes, what happens is that there's a story for each one of the candles. Look, once this candle was done, once it moved up from the start of this candle, it's at the start of this candle here that the price just so happened to coincide with the clearing of that 50-minute VWAP level, this VWAP level over here. And exactly at that moment is when the price decided to go where? To the next available level, which is right over here. And after it got over there, it said, okay, I'm done. I'm going to head back down over here. And it stopped. It stopped usually right in the last 1 or 2 bars before the whatever bar you're on closes, no matter what time frame you're dealing with. The first 2 bars and the last 2 bars and the first 2 bars of that candle, the story you can sort of ignore. The price sort of like resets there. Here, the price came back down over here and it says, okay, my time frame is up. I'm done. I'm done doing what I need to do for this 15-minute. And the next 15-minute candle comes in and says, hey, great. I need to get up to my level over here. And so what happens is that these time frame changes become great points for it to turn. This is not a coincidence that at this point over here, it turned right around the time frame change. Where did it end? Right at the time frame change. Where did this turn? Right at the time frame change.
It's so weird. It's eerie.
Again and again. Does it happen every single time? No, but can you imagine taking these bets? Can you imagine taking this, holding on, setting a trailing stop? And you set your trailing stop where? To below the 50-minute level. You just set it to below the 50-minute level, and then you just ride this all the way up. Where does it get out? Over here at your 50-minute VWAP. Boom, you made that money. How much is this? This is over here 120 points, $240 on a micro, 2,400 on a NASDAQ, on a macro, on a full contract. This is what I'm talking about. Most people do not trade this way. They do not. What you're looking for online for people who talk about this sort of thing is time over price. But even those people, they're not talking about granular like I'm talking about. I'm talking about things you could toss on your chart and somebody who's never traded before could look at it and go, hey, I've watched it for the last 15 minutes. I think I got to figure it out. That's why the sacred profit indicators are so unbelievably amazing. And I'm annoyed that I offer them at such a low price. Let's go get them, folks.
Well, thank you, Tom. I appreciate it. Are there other indicators like yours?
No, that's why I made mine. I didn't want to make my own indicators. guys. If you think I'm sitting here going, oh my God, I love making indicators, I don't want to make any of this stuff. I want to make my money and get my toes licked by beautiful women on some beach somewhere. I don't want to be doing any of this. But because I couldn't find it, I've used every single one I could have out there. I made some up for other people. I could not find anyone trading this way.
Which way?
I see smart money this and ICT that. I see kill zones for over here. I see all kinds of different trading styles, candle patterns and bats and bull flags and all that. I go, have I shown you a bull flag here? Have I shown you an engulfing candle or anything like that? No, I just showed you time and levels. That's it. And this type of trading, I have not seen one other place.
What kind of trading?
But they don't have the Lord of Liquidity speaking in their ear, telling them secrets of the universe. So I can't blame them for it.
What kind of trading?
My type of trading is time-based trading. Time, then price. Time, then price.
Seb in the chat saying way better than Super Bowl. Is there a Super Bowl happening now?
Sports ball. Unless you're betting on it, it's like, why bother watching it? If I want, I was about to make a joke that it's just a little bit too blue collar. It was going to start with
blue collar.
If I want to see a group of men grope each other violently on the field,
oh dear,
I'll go to and then fill in the blank too.
Fill in the blank.
Yeah, whatever.
Okay, well, fantastic. That's great. Okay, well, I think that's what I wanted to ask you about. Solana. Did we check Solana's chart?
We did see, yeah, we did check Solana.
Okay. So this volume weighted, your indicators, volume weighted, average price, time based, then price based. Does this work on anything? On just Bitcoin, NASDAQ? Like, what is it good for?
That's a great question. Yes, it works on any asset. However, two things need to be true. The asset needs to have enough age to it that it can actually calculate things on the longer time frame. If you're dealing with too short of a thing, it's too chaotic. Why? Because, and you'll often notice this when anyone who's using VWAP, the first part of the VWAP, let me just show you that real quick over here. The first part of the VWAP, whatever VWAP you're looking at, is the hesitation part. So here I'm going to go down to the hour. The first VWAP over here, it's an average price, so it barely has any bars here to take into consideration. That's why it's like a little bit squiggly at the beginning, and it's only as it goes on that it becomes a little bit more sustained. That's why I say the first two bars in whatever time frame you're looking at. If you're on the 15-minute, the first 2 minutes. If you're on the daily, the first two bars there. If you're looking at the 2 hours, those first two bars get squirrely. You can't really follow the VWAP there. But as it ages, it becomes more useful. But also, every asset, from what I've seen, every asset has its own sort of fingerprint for how it follows VWAP. Or to put it in a different way, every asset has a particular time frame or a set of time frames that it responds to more specifically. You could imagine if there are big players within those markets, right? On Bitcoin, there are far more long-term players than there are on Forex or on futures. Because they're trying to, let's say, follow a 4-year cycle. Well, can you imagine how many 4-year cycle algos and bots and systems or whatever there are on Bitcoin? That's why the quarterly, the monthly, and the weekly timeframes are way more predictive on Bitcoin. Whereas when you're on the Nasdaq, I find it responds very well to daily levels for target price. But if you're going to be dealing with that VWAP, you want to deal with it on the 15-minute. The 15-minute bar on Nasdaq works extremely well. It's different for every asset. So yes, these tools work on any chart, but you're gonna have to figure out, depending on your trading style, which time frames are the ones you want to pay attention to. And you need at least one time frame for the long-term price target for that. Whatever you're dealing with, what's my long-term price target so I know my bias for the trend? And then what is the shorter time frame that I could trade more specifically? Gold works great on weekly. Nasdaq works great on 15-minute. Bitcoin works great on monthly and quarterly. Dollar works well on quarterly. These are things I've traded before, and I found to be super, super true. So I'm very interested to get this in hands of people to see what they find, what kind of levels they're looking at.
If I join the Telegram group for Sacred Profit, can I get some insight about this and how to figure out what time frame, what intervals my asset is responding to more precisely?
Yes, you can. I think it's more useful to join the Telegram group in order to get feedback on the assets that I'm paying attention to and the how to think about the indicators. So it's usually you can send me, hey, a screenshot of what you're taking a look at or what asset, and you might say, okay, Tom, I'm thinking about taking this trade. Do you think this might be a good idea or not? Like, what do you think about this? And I could give you my opinion on that. But the assets that I spend more time with are Nasdaq, Bitcoin, the dollar, so euro dollar, the euro, silver, and gold. Other than that, it's harder for me to trade. And then when you get to stocks, those have idiosyncratic risks. So if you're trading Tesla, you don't only have to follow the volume weighted average price and time and all that. You also have to follow Elon Musk's Twitter account because they might say something. A CEO change, an earnings report. These things matter on an idiosyncratic level when you're dealing with stocks. So I can't give give information on any stock for anybody, but I can help a little bit guide people. What's more useful is that as you give feedback as to what you're doing, how you're using it on the Telegram group, I can make the indicators better. So one of the updates we had recently on the levels indicator was to provide both levels. If you see on my chart right now, you'll see here that when I'm dealing with, let's say I'm dealing with, let me hide the wave over here. And you see here how on this daily level, this is a daily level we're looking at, but there's two lines here, two here, two here, two here. The reason I did that is that some people trade the overnight session, the extended VWAP, that takes into consideration all the bars, including the overnight, and other people trade only the VWAP just for the day that they're in. It's called a session VWAP, anchored to the session.
That blue band is the overnight, right?
Yes, this blue band here is the overnight. This blue band here is the overnight. So I trade the VWAP that starts from the overnight and ends at the end of the day, while some other people trade the VWAP that starts over here and ends at the end of the day. But because of that, I noticed that, hey, yeah, there are certain levels where the price is actually responding to the session VWAP and not the overnight VWAP. So, for example, last week was a great example for this for the Nasdaq. We talked about this on after hours more in depth, Peter, last Friday. So if you guys want to go take a look at my Peter and I's conversation on Traders Post on the last Friday's video, you can see this. But you see how the price moved up. So it turned at the start of the session, it turned up, and it went first to the nearby. This is the session VWAP from yesterday. Came up to that level first, then it crossed above it, came back, confirmed it, then went above. This is one of the indications, one of the points of confidence that I had that it was going to be a bullish day on the Nasdaq because the price had climbed over both. It literally climbed over it, right?
That's
Came
how I
over here,
got.
climbed over it, came back, touched it again, and moved up still.
That's how I
So
got the
if it was
juice.
one more time,
That's how I got the juice.
that's right. So I didn't have that originally, and it was from feedback from people who were using the indicators that I was able to be like, "Oh, I need to add this in so that we can have a better indicator." I was even able to use that in order to add a trend filter so that you don't have to decide at the end of the day, "Hey, what did Tom say? Is it bullish for today? I had the session VWAP and the overnight one. What's going on? It's green. It's bullish. It's green. Go long. Over here, it's red. Short. Short every bounce. Short every bounce. Short every bounce. Short every bounce. You know, it just becomes super useful to have these. Oh, it came in red the night before. Short. Short every bounce.
Wow.
So I find it to be exceedingly useful to have feedback from the community so that I can make these indicators better. But if you want to do it on your own, you don't want someone in your back pocket who's a Pine Script blacksmith and who's going to use AI and all this time in order. I'll neglect my kids in order to make sure that you make more money. I don't know what else you want on your side, but if that's not good enough, and you rather go lose money on your own, go for it, folks. Save your $500 a year. Go do it on your own. Go figure it out on your own, and I'll see you when you're serving me. When I'm serving soup at a soup kitchen, trying to give back to the community, and you're there, and hey, I used to follow Sacred Prophet. Then you'll know.
Okay. I believe you're going to do great things out there, folks. But you're going to need those indicators to do it.
I didn't play that song yet, just to clear the air here. I do love everyone who loves me. I love everyone who loves me. I want you to make money so that you give me money.
Right.
I don't think that's
we know that.
unreasonable. I think that's totally fair.
From your perspective.
From the divine perspective. Yes, exactly.
All right. Well, we got to figure out what trades to put on here. And if you're part of the Sacred Prophet Telegram group, then you can be part of that conversation. If you're not, well, have fun.
It's free to join if you want to lurk. But if you want to talk, you got to sign up as a subscriber to Sacred Prophet. But if you want to look around and just see what I chisel on those 10 commandment tablets, fine. But if you want to talk, you either do it publicly on Twitter with emojis and make me feel good, or you pay the monthly fee, the yearly fee, and you join the community. Makes sense.
You talked about the yearly fee, but you also have the partnership where you can actually not have to pay a fee, but you do have to trade using our affiliates.
Yeah, absolutely. You can sign up as an affiliate for free with one of our crypto exchanges. Right now, it's BitGet and Blowfin. So if you do that with a new account and you have us as an affiliate, you can then get a free. Oh, you have to also deposit $500 in that account to trade, and then if you are, then you can go ahead and maintain your membership. But if you stop trading, you're going to find out real quick that my automated system decides your value is worth. Because if you think you're going to start creating fake accounts again and again and again in order to get around it so you can get these juicy indicators, make all kinds of bucks and not give any my way, you got another thing coming. I am not altruistic. We are in objectivism here, folks.
Okay. All right. Well, serenity now.
I might not always be truthful, but I am honest.
That sounds sinister.
Thank you, folks, for watching Sunday Fuel for this Sunday, February 8th. We'll be back next Sunday with even more goodness for the week ahead. We are going to be starting a series real soon where we're going to be going over some deep dive trades for how we've been trading day by day by day by day. Because I know a lot of people out there are interested to jump into the prop firm space, 1 out of interest, 2 out of necessity, because they are tanking the economy. And the fourth turning is there. It's Elysian protocol here, folks. you better get on that spaceship because you're going to be down here in the dumps with the rest of the pros. So if you want to see that, we're going to have more videos for that. And if you want to see me trade live, you can do so from Tuesday to Friday, 9:30 a.m. to 10:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time over on the Trader Post channel. I do that there with Mike Christensen, my brother from another mother, someone who I love more than my twin brother himself. And I do that every week. So eager to see you guys there. And then also you get to see Peter, who's learning how to trade right now. And you guys can see how I could take an even a rube like him and turn him into a cool daddy-o. He's already got the glasses. He's already got the life preserver. So thank you very much, folks, for watching. And we'll see you again next week. I like that we opened with the Epstein files.
Yeah, it was good.
Flush
Flush out.
the right tone.
Flush out everybody.
Sort of like, there's gonna be a lot of insults that come later on. Let's just get the people out with Epstein. They know what's happening. I couldn't wait, Peter. I've seen people predicting 22,000 on Bitcoin. I go, that's exactly what I said they would say. Oh my God, it's as was foretold. It's as